Hey guys, I know that most people won't need this video, and that's okay, but just in case you want to learn how to fight Demon Hunter or want to learn what skills to use and why, the gear setup, or maybe you're just been out of it for a while like me and want to see what's up. So right now, Demon Hunter is pretty much exclusively, unless you're going for sheer damage, which I'll tell you, you can do that, but it might not work as well as you want it to. Just going for sheer damage, you're probably using a Marauder setup. And Marauders are basically, you have a bunch of Hatred Spenders that do massive damage, and you set sentries, and Marauder set uses those Hatred Spenders for you. So, first thing I'm going to give you a disclaimer on, right now, I'm using 6 pieces of Marauder's gear. Normally, not something you want to do because you can have a little more effective time doing something else. But for the gear I have right now, that's kind of what I had to do. So you'll notice I have 2 stashfuls of crap for my Demon Hunter. Like, everything here is usable, so, I like to have it around. So I'll give you my setup, I'll give you the setup I was using, and I'll give you kind of the alternative skill setup. And then I'm going to do a rift, and you can just kind of see how it plays out. So Demon Hunters, like I said, use Marauder's 6 set. Normally, you'll use Marauder's helm, chest armor, shoulders, the legs, and the boots. Your gloves should be Tasker and Theo. These are extremely rare, just like Witching Hour. Your belts should be Witching Hour. Both are extremely rare, hard to find, and if you do find Tasker and Theo, there's no guarantee that will be a good roll. You just gotta hope for the best. So, right now I'm using 6 pieces, because I'm using a Traveler's Pledge plus Compass Rose. For sheer damage, this is probably what you want to do. Traveler's Pledge, Compass Rose. You could roll out a socket. I'll explain why you have sockets in this gear in a second. But the set bonus being 50% critical hit damage, and the Compass Rose itself having 5 primary affixes really helps it out. So, the bow is pretty much exclusively Nat Slayer. You can use 2-handed bows if you want. You can use other one-handers. I find that Nat Slayer is probably the highest sheet, and effectively, it's got a lot of damage. So the nice thing about Nats is if you find one, it's bound to roll at least okay. It will always have damage, it will always have percent damage, it will always have dex, and it will always have a socket. It will always have all of those things. So if one of them rolls poorly, that's okay. Now, what most people do when they find it is they'll get a Nat Slayer like this. If it rolled like this without having to reroll anything, you roll it out of that socket into attack speed, and you use one of these gifts on it to add a piece to it, or add a socket to it. The Bombardier's Rucksack, is pretty much standard. It will let you have 2 additional sentries. Now, this isn't completely necessary. The only time I actually have 5 out is when I'm either killing a boss or doing a greater rift that's like 33, 34 or higher. I mean, you will get them out in 28s and 29s, but usually it's not totally necessary. On the other hand, having 5 out is great. So your bracers can really be whatever you want. I use Reaper's Wraps because I like the health globe regenerating my primary resource. You want to have cold damage on anything you can if you're using my build. You can also have fire or something. You just have to make sure that whatever you're using works with your build. Same, like Miami has cold damage. Now, you'll see that Miami and both my rings have sockets. Right now I'm using Unity. Generally, if I were playing with a group, I would use this Stone of Jordan. The Stone of Jordan has cold damage, crit damage, increased damage against elites, and the socket I rerolled into it out of Dex. You'll notice Dex is not that important anymore. You need Dex. I actually have a lot more Dex than some people, though, which is kind of surprising. So, you want, in this order, I would say, Enforcer as your first legendary gem. Enforcer gives your sentries more damage because they're considered pets, plus you have all these companions from Marauders. You want Bane of the Trapped as probably your second one. It's basically a second call of the week. When things are snared, you will do, right now, level 30, mine rank 30, does 24% more damage. You want it to get to rank 25, at that point it will snare people that get too close to you. The third one, and it's important, but I would have the other 2 first, is Bane of the Powerful. 15 raw percent against elites, and after you kill an elite pack, based on its rank, right now mine's 27, for 57 seconds I have 20% increased damage just overall. So, I'm not using a Ring of Royal Grandeur right now. You will want a Ring of Royal Grandeur when you get Tasker and Theo, and it's kind of like they roll poorly more than half the time. Just make sure it's got at least, if it's like this, it's okay. This isn't great, but it will work. So you want Ring of Royal Grandeur. I was also using Nat's Boots, which gave me 250 dex, 20 discipline, and 7% crit chance when I was using Ring of Royal Grandeur. So if you don't have all the gear I have, this is a nice setup. The amulet I was using was just the, let's see, it was one of these. Might have been this one. Yeah. I prevent all cold damage. It's got fire damage. I was using this for a while because I couldn't find a good cold ammy. I also Squirt's Necklace is a great ammy if you can't get a good Traveler's Pledge. It pretty much always rolls decently. Whatever you're doing, just make sure that you match the elemental damage. If you can, Dex is fine. If you could roll out a Dex, that's cool too. You want crit damage. Crit damage is amazing. You will have so much critical hit chance, you won't know what to do with it. Attack speed is nice, but not necessary. Your sentries do benefit from your attack speed, but at the same time, your attack speed will not give as much more damage as like 20% crit could, as opposed to having like 3, 4, 5% increased attack speed. So this is what I'm running right now. With my build, I run, just FYI, if you do have Paragons, I set mine up 25% movement speed, rest up to the dex, crit hit damage, then chance, then attack speed. I went resist all, then life, then armor, and on this I go area damage, then cost reduction, then life on hit. So with my build, I run Elemental Arrow, Frost Arrow. This will let you snare things for Call the Weak or Bane of the Trapped. Cluster Arrow, Maelstrom. This benefits from cold damage, does a lot of primary target damage. Also, it releases 5 rockets, and I'm using ballistics, so 450% weapon damage, plus all the cold damage, plus the elite damage, plus 100% more damage from ballistics. Those suckers hit pretty hard. I've hit like 18-20 millions on white creatures. Any companion will do. When you activate your companions, you'll get damage, you'll get the AoE, you'll get the snare, and you'll get hatred and whatever else they might give you. Vault, I use tumble. Sometimes I want smokescreen to get out of stuff. Sometimes this doesn't work. Usually it's okay. Sentry, Spitfire turret for the rockets. I usually keep things snared with elemental arrows, so it tends to work okay. You could use Polar Station, which will snare for you. Multi-shot arsenal, again, weird fire damage, but it has rockets. The rockets deal 300% weapon damage, plus all the other damage I have. They work really well. Ambush, most people use this. I want to say I was a pioneer on that, in a way. I've always used this. I've always loved it. You will hit shit hard when they have full health. Ballistics gives your rockets more damage. In addition, you also have a 20% chance to fire a rocket for 150% weapon damage when you attack. Custom Engineering gives you more sentries, and Call the Weak gives you 20% increased damage against slow targets. If you want to use a Hellfire Amulet, I'm totally for that. If you do, my suggestion is to have one of these passives on it so that you can play with another passive. I would try to get that. We all know that it's very hard to roll a good one. Now, real quick, the Lightning build is similar to mine, but obviously Tasker and Theo. Really, the biggest difference is you replace this with Tasker and Theo if possible. You use a Ring of Royal Grandeur against one of these, probably your Compass Rose, which sucks, but you need Unity sometimes for survivability. If you have this equipped on your follower and your follower can't die, then you take half damage. Then Traveler's Pledge, you can keep this one if it's more damage. If you have something nicer and you're only using this to get the set bonus, that's cool too. Now the real thing is you need a Hell Trapper, which I don't have yet. Essentially, a Hell Trapper on your attacks allows you a 7 to 10% chance to summon a Sentry or a Caltrap or whatever the other thing is. Long story short, they do not count against your max amount, so you can summon Sentries over the maximum amount you're supposed to be able to have, and they hit pretty damn hard. The other thing you want to use is Meticulous Bolts. It'll make your Ball Lightning travel slower, and it will ping your targets more than once. If you're using this, I don't remember exactly what everything's called, but basically, Elemental Arrow will be Lightning Bolts, right? Ball Lightning, sorry, not Lightning Bolts. Ball Lightning. Your Cluster Arrow will be like Marked for Death, and you will use the Marked for Death that allows you to gain hatred, I think, it's Mortal Enemy. You will use, in place of Arsenal, I would be using the Preparation that gives you hatred, so that you can spam. Where is it at? There it is. You will use Sentry, Polar Station on the Sentry so that you can snare things. Instead of Vault, you could use Smokescreen. And then instead of having Ballistics or this, or you can kind of play around with this. Generally, I see Night Stalker to keep Discipline up and keep Smokescreen up. Real quick, next patch they're going to be doing some changes to us. So far, what it looks like is your 2-set from Marauders will give you pets, your 4-set will give you the sentries, but the sentries, you have to fire your Hatred Spinner for the sentries to fire theirs. This isn't all bad. It might actually work out to be pretty cool. I'm going to try working on a build so that I can use Nats and this, and maybe an Andes or something if possible. Either way, I'll be trying to pump up more damage and keep the same effectiveness. It shouldn't be that hard, but we'll see how that works. Real quick, keep in mind Ancient Legendaries are coming, so that'll make it really easy to kind of gear up later on if you want to start in 2.1.2. If you get lucky and find this Nats bow, it could have like 3,500 DPS for all you know. Last thing, I'll be playing this a lot, trying to stream as much as I can. I will be streaming at twitch.tv/trispec. I will be grinding my ass off trying to get ancient legendaries all around, just because I would love to get back on top and be. I mean, when ROS came out, I was first starting to play. While into it, I was like 12th in the world. Then I just stopped playing, got kind of bored. But I'm kind of back into it now. So, anyway, this next part, I will do a rift. You can see how Demon Hunters play. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. I know this is really simple stuff, but, you know, just for those people who wanted a video like this, have at it. And also, I want to make a D3 video, so adios.
trace of the night, way back down from the sky where you left my soul. Can you help me fly? I can't resist, 'cause you have got a hold on me. And all these thoughts, when you are here, you light up the dark sides. To live in the night shine, you take my life and light every side. You fade the dark inside. The light shines.
Echoes of your words crashing into me, drown